Are we on the internet?
We are.
Woo!
Yes. So the issue was Megan was working late, and then by the time I figured out whether or not I should get dinner, she was already on her way home. And
okay.
then all we had was pasta. Our options were pasta.
It's like the easiest thing to make.
Neither of us wanted pasta.
That's fair.
So we ended up going to crispy cone, and it ended up taking longer than we thought.
Nice.
So, and Monty was like awful. There were other dogs there, and there were children there, and there was people there, and there was food there. So he was
all sorts of riled up.
Yes. Yep. So. Oh, I should do.
There we go.
All right. I didn't want sounds of me eating fried dough to be in the microphone.
Fair.
But
you got to give the listeners what they want,
which is not to hear me chewing.
Definitely you chewing on things in the microphone.
No, nobody wants that.
No.
So, all right. Why don't we get this show on the road?
Yes.
So, going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 142, Detective Pikachu was delightful. Game of Thrones is over. We descend into Avernus, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky and pop culture news of the past week. I am your host, Sean Hayes, and with me are my wonderful co-hosts, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
And Josh York.
Crap, I don't have a gag. Hey, this is how I remind myself of what buttons do what in Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Wonderful. For the audio listeners, it was a scrap of paper with the buttons configured on it with 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right, because certain moves are just like in notation written as like 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're not written as triangle, square, X because it's on all different systems.
Yep.
So yeah. So when I'm looking at combo notations and it's like, oh, forward 1, 3, 2. Down 4. I was like, oh, I can't. It doesn't compute, so I need to like look down at my little.
Makes me wonder: is it out on PC?
Yeah.
Like, are there people that play it with a keyboard?
No.
I was gonna
probably
say,
not.
Can you play it with a keyboard?
They probably play with an arcade stick would be my guess, or a controller. No, I don't. Mortal Kombat, I think you can do with a pad and be all right. It's not like Street Fighter where you got to be super precise.
Because I'm just thinking of well, if Microsoft had decided not to just swap like the X and Y and B and A buttons from Nintendo, which is dumb, then at least if it was like just using the controllers, then they could have said like, oh well, this is X/A or triangle/B or whatever those are.
Whatever. It's just. I mean, for like Street Fighter, it would just be like the notations aren't numbers. It's just like HP means hard punch or heavy punch.
Oh, geez.
So like if you know the heavy punch button, like that is easier for me just because I know where those buttons are.
Yeah.
It makes more sense. The number notation is just like taking an extra step for me. That's like my brain doesn't work that fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what this means is I'll have to make a cheat sheet for you for Smash. So
Ugh.
that way you'll be able to do stuff.
There's only two buttons.
Really? Yes,
I mean,
but then tilting and stuff like that also changes things.
Here's my problem with Smash is when it's not 1v1.
What, you don't like big brawls?
Nope. You can't see what the heck's going on. The controls don't feel precise. I don't know. It could just be me.
It's just you.
It might be the
just play Ryu the whole time. Just play Ryu.
No, it's not the same.
All of his combos are the same. Capcom made sure of that.
And the little flippin', well, I guess with the Pro controllers, it's not as bad, but I really don't like the Switch Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I prefer using the Pro controller.
Yeah.
So. But there are some times when, actually, I mean, I really only use the Joy-Cons when it's
when you play
undocked.
in mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we are here to discuss. We got quite a bit of news this week.
Yeah.
So why don't we get right into it? So let's start off with Game of Thrones. I didn't watch the finale. I was too busy.
I did.
I was too busy watching The Descent. And the final.
Yeah.
It was basically the finale was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we still haven't been able to sign up for HBO Go. So we have been watching it on demand, and they pulled everything up to season 8 off of on demand at like midnight that night.
Oof.
So we were trying to get in as much as we could before they pulled everything,
Yeah.
and we only made it like, I don't know, maybe to season 6 or something.
Yeah.
Or halfway through season 5. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Courtney, have you watched all of Game of Thrones?
No, I haven't
See?
actually.
Okay.
But I am I follow enough on the internet that I know enough, and I was able to follow it very easily.
Okay.
I'm a person that doesn't care about spoilers in TV shows. So like I'm the person that like I'll be watching something. Great example, actually, back when I was watching Haven, I would be constantly on the wiki being like, do they die? Like, is this person alive still? When do they leave? Like all of this other stuff. Yeah, I do that a lot.
That's why my mother does that. I can't stand it. I always give her crap over it. That's just part of the excitement for me is guessing and waiting to see if I'm right.
See, that's my biggest thing though, is wanting to know, like, I've done it with Blindside a lot too, actually, with like, does like something's getting intense in a season, even with like Ashley Johnson's character, who I know lives, but I'm like, okay, because she's, still away filming for Critical Role, or filming in New York and away from Critical Role, but so like I'll know she died, she's alive still, but I'll be like, crud, does she die now? Crud, does she die now? Or like with something intense
and that's
going
why
on.
you wait for the next episode.
Dude, I'm a binger. I'm gonna know within the next hour anyway.
Well, there you go. Then you watch it, you binge it, and you watch it.
Nope.
That's the whole point of half the point of any media, like, is to discuss it with people and like your theories and thoughts and waiting. I think with TV shows and episodic media is to.
But a lot of the
discuss
times,
it with your friends and wait to see, and
a lot of the times though, what I'm watching is not even close to when it came out, so it's not like it's not like I'm just like watching something new, and I do have, we get to talk about it and then it's something else, and then we're waiting for the next episode. Like most of the time I'm binging something that is multiple seasons old.
I guess it's each your own. I don't watch a whole lot of anything, honestly. This is like one of the last shows. Like now I really have nothing I watch consistently. This was it.
Yeah.
So for
But-
me, I kind of like the wait and I like the guessing and discussion.
Yeah.
But as far as the episode itself and the finale,
Yes.
it was fine. It was fine, in my opinion. So I don't think you can take this episode without the context of the whole season and then
Yeah.
in context of the whole story. Because I'm going to preface this by saying I try not to complain a lot about media because I like to just turn my brain off and enjoy a lot of things. I'm usually pretty simple to entertain with games, books, and movies most of the time, unless I just don't care.
Yeah.
But like that's why I don't care. Like I think all the Star Wars movies are fine. Like I'm not gonna complain, even though there's all uproar about that. Same with this season of Game of Thrones. Yeah, there's issues, but I'm not gonna dwell on it.
And really, in order for you to be considered like great media, there's really just like a checkbox with 2 boxes or whatever, and it's has giant robots and kills gods.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
That is what you need for Josh to make a great movie.
That's it. Is there like some
Mhm.
weird pseudo philosophical BS? Are there giant robots? Is there a struggle against
Yeah.
God in which mortals defeat it? Yes, great.
Yep.
Perfect. My perfect piece of media.
Yep. Basically, everything that is just Xenogears.
Yeah, just play Xenogears. Everybody just play Xenogears. Just get a PlayStation 1 and play Xenogears. It's fantastic.
All movies should just be Xenogears.
It's the best. Yes, everything should just be Xenogears. Every book,
Yep.
everything. Or yeah, Neo Genesis Evangelion. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, Evangelion's good.
Yeah, that's coming out on Netflix soon. But anyway, Game of Thrones
Yeah.
finale, fine. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. But I think all the characters who survive, their endings are fine. It's good. It makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it wrapped it up nicely. My only complaint is just that, like they needed more. They needed another season or two.
Well,
have
or
everything make
to have the
sense.
same length of the last season.
I
as
was going to say,
previous
or
ones.
actually do 10 seasons like they had been greenlit
Right, but
for.
Two,
Or 10
two more,
episodes.
even that, I don't know if that
Yeah.
would have been enough because
Mm,
for one character's heel turn, you needed more time for that.
Well, because I
make
think
real sense.
because I think the last 2 seasons were truncated, like that they only
Yeah,
did
last
like
season
8
last
episodes
season
or
was
something.
8 episodes. This was only 6.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was watching an interview with Martin, and he was like, "Yeah, originally I thought we were gonna do like 11 or 12 seasons. Like, there's plenty of material to do
Yeah.
that." And I get it; it's TV, and like directors and producers want to do other
Yeah,
stuff.
my-
Like, you don't want to be
my-
stuck to a project forever. You probably
Yeah,
want to do
my
different
cousin
things. I get it.
actually had a similar because she's watched consistently, and her similar, like, she liked the story, she was fine with the endings, it worked out, but there was so much action without the behind the it was go, like in a Cirque du Soleil performance where you didn't have the clowns come out to release that tension and bring you back down and explain some of the things of what was happening, a little bit more character like development.
Yeah, that's 100% it. There's just wasn't enough time for
Yeah.
proper character development.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, and I felt that because
certain arcs didn't make sense.
Mhm.
Particularly Jaime Lannister. That's the only one. That one, like, I kind of get it, but again, it was just like
it was just
he
too
spends-
fast paced.
he spent 7 seasons like in this redemption arc, going from like total jerk in the first season, and then slowly like winning everybody over and becoming like this big hero. And then
Yeah, my cousin told me there's a big redemption arc for him. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, 100%. Well, then you're trying
I know.
not to like him.
No, I just haven't gotten that far yet, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think he's one of the best characters. I mean, yeah, he did crappy stuff, but in the end, it's all like thrown away for. I guess
Mhm.
I can understand, but there's just little stuff like that, and I'm not going to dwell on it because I was entertained by it. I was fine with it, and I'll
Yeah.
move on. The books are still the books. I'll always have the books. I think they're probably going to end in the same exact way or a very, very similar way. The only difference is going to be there's going to be more time to get there, and there's going to be more detail and explanation for how they get to that point, which is
Exactly.
that's fine. That's why I prefer reading to watching things anyway.
Yeah, I mean, because he'll be able to have, pages and pages to say this is why this is happening.
He said his manuscript for the next 2 books is like 3,000 pages.
Oh.
Sounds about right.
Oh.
He's like the next 2 books I filled about 3,000 manuscript pages for the last 2 books of the series, which is fine.
Reminder that that's manuscript pages. That's not.
But that's fantasy, man. That's fantasy books. Like
that's high fantasy in general. Yeah.
But see, Game of Thrones isn't really high fantasy. Kind of now as the dragons got into it, but even then,
once the dragons got really involved,
there's not a lot of magic. There's not a lot of sorcery.
I still even with
it's
the
still
dragons,
very grounded. It's still very grounded. That's the appeal of it.
Yeah, because I would agree. It's not really high fantasy.
It's that whole series is about the characters. It's about that's why every chapter is a character point of view. That's why it follows very specific characters. In the books, every chapter is a specific character. Like, so this is a Jon Snow chapter. This is a Jaime chapter. This is a Bran chapter. And like every book, it keeps hopping back and forth between characters and what they're all doing. So it's not like the show where it's like you can't quite do that in the same way. You can't pull that off like you can in a book.
No. I mean, you'd have to have like different narrations. It would have to be like, how Grey's Anatomy has different narrations for different people at the beginning of each episode. But most of the time, it's Meredith.
I mean, the show does it. It bounces around between.
Yeah, it does bounce around, but it's not like
with a television show is you have to bounce around like that, really.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you end up like might as well be doing a mini series.
Mm-hmm.
For each person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would work.
No.
I don't know. I'm excited though, because the finale, I mean, I've been hearing that they were going to be making a couple spin-offs, and I am very excited to see which direction some of those spin-offs might take.
One of them's a prequel that's like 3,000 years before the story.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the only one that's been confirmed is the prequel.
Yeah. I'm uninterested, honestly.
I want an Arya spinoff.
I will say, I think my favorite thing is there was a behind the scenes photo, and it was Bran and Arya, and like Bran, the actor.
I know exactly what.
Yeah, he's wearing the top, but he's got no pants.
It must have been like hot where they were shooting or something.
Yeah,
so,
and then Arya's just like sitting there with like
takes.
big aviators on and just or
yeah.
I can't remember the actress. I can't remember any of the actors and actresses' names.
I don't know.
But whoever played Arya, sitting there with big aviators on and just like a very neutral expression, but it because of the aviators makes her look like just she's got kind of like a Captain Marvel vibe going on of just like I'm so done with all of your stuff right now.
As I was watching the end, I was like, why not be it would never happen. But I wish they would just pull Sopranos ending. Journey Don't Stop Believing starts playing, and then all of a sudden it just cuts to black.
and then there's no resolution whatsoever.
Yes, that'd be the best.
You monster.
There were a couple parts in it, I was like, oh, this would be so funny if they pulled the Sopranos ending right here.
Oh, man.
I want somebody to do a cut of that on YouTube where it's just they do that as the ending. I found a couple that weren't very good, but I wish somebody would really do a nice job editing it to be like that. It's funny.
Oh, speaking of which, this is not really related, but just thinking of doing different cuts and edits and stuff like that. So I did get a chance to see that Warcraft cinematic.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that as well.
And somebody did an edit of like all of the different Horde cinematics from like the past expansion, and put it to Hurt.
Oh,
and it's like from the view of Sarfang, and like basically his journey through this thing put to Hurt.
Yeah,
and it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, it like shifts to Sylvanas, and then like it shifts to Sylvanas when the tone in the song shifts as well. And so it's the
Johnny Cash version, I assume.
Not the Johnny Cash version, yeah.
I bounce back and forth between which version of that song I like more. Recently, I like the Nine Inch Nails version a little more, but I'll go back and forth. Fun fact about Josh: when I first went to college, I was drinking and listening to that song, the Johnny Cash version, and like bawling my eyes out in my dorm room because I just got super emotional. It was the dumbest thing.
Dude, college will do that to you.
I think I cried when I saw somebody did an edit of Logan put to that. Or maybe it was the trailer.
It wasn't even that. I was just like hammered,
I think it
drunk
was
by
the
myself.
trailer.
Yeah, of just like the official trailer playing Hurt with for Logan.
No.
And just, of all the stuff that's been built up with Sir Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman.
So what do you think about that cinematic with Daddy Thrall and Saurfang?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Thought it was great.
I want to know what I really like. The little,
rogues getting their butts handed to them.
That, and that they use the actual invis sound.
Yep. Yep.
Woo,
well, and then when you really think about it, like, yeah, it turns out, invisibility, I mean, it's good, but, especially if you're in a very dusty area, not that great.
No.
Just
Saurfang did. How are you going to try to invis against Saurfang? You just got super cleave. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, well, maybe they're banking on the fact that if he tries to cleave again, there will be no more Outland, since he is the reason Outland's broken up in the first place.
That's right.
So for those who are confused, that's not the actual lore thing, but that is one of the Chuck Norris-esque jokes about Saurfang.
Okay.
Is he cleaves so hard, it's like the lore states that Gul'dan pulled Outland apart with portals or whatever, but it was actually Saurfang cleaving to get rid of Gul'dan. Yeah.
I hope my guess is there'll be one more cinematic like that.
Yeah.
Like towards the end of the expansion next year.
I was listening to them talk in the instance about it. That is, in fact, the first kind of this new style of cinematics where it's really high polish and everything that we've seen Thrall.
Yeah, it is.
So
I think the last one I remember seeing him in was like an in-game one where he fights Garrosh.
Yeah.
It's the last one I remember. There might have been one in Legion. Well, I think he's in the background getting his butt kicked by demons in like one of the invasions of
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Where everybody got
look how they
butts
massacred
kicked.
My boy.
Where everybody but Mechatork got their butts kicked.
God. Well, that's okay. He got it. He got it in the raid.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he was like in critical condition at the. I don't know. He was on like death's door.
There's rumor that like he actually escapes.
I don't know. I've not played the raid. I'm just going
either,
by what I thought I heard.
Yeah.
I'm just mad you don't get to kill Jane. That's too bad.
So yeah. Also, apparently, there's new content coming, including there's some kind of
it's Azara.
Yeah, Azara, but there's also
hey, surprise, Azara.
But there's also a Mecha Gnome place.
Yeah, there is. That's kind of interesting.
Mecha Gong.
Yeah.
Or Mecha Gon. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, so Courtney and I saw, and Megan saw Detective Pikachu last night.
Oh yeah.
It was good. I won't say it was great.
That's about what I heard.
But it was enjoyable. Was basically it achieved its purpose, which was to provide a fun Pokemon movie that stays, kind of true to the source material, and basically serves as a really nice set piece for what Pokemon would look like in this art style.
Yeah.
I will say, at least the plot of the movie is more involved than the plot of a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Not that that's difficult, but the plot's kind of like a kids level movie, which I think is fine.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that's going to be your target audience for the film anyway. But I think there was enough stuff to make it enjoyable for adults. It's just,
nice.
It's not going to win any Oscars, but I don't think it's set out to. I think it just set out to be a fun Pokemon movie. That also ties into all of the existing Pokemon movies. So it is like in canon with the Pokemon universe.
With like the animated movies.
Yes, with the animated movies. Yes.
What?
So I won't go into details.
Mewtwo realizes friendship was the best all along?
That's like in the first animated movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's already a thing.
I know. Again?
Like, Mewtwo comes back in like 4 different animated movies. Mewtwo, and I think we've touched on this before, is Mewtwo is basically kind of like Goku, where
yes,
stuff gets bad enough to threaten Earth, and they call
Yeah.
in Mewtwo, and Mewtwo shows up and just starts kicking the crap out of everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. out of the bad Pokemon that are trying to take over. Like, I know Genesect, the Genesect movie is one of those, where since he's basically Bug Terminator, like he comes back from the future.
What?
And
I'm sorry. That's just really funny.
It's a robot bug that like has a laser cannon and like is programmed to just destroy. And like it comes back and there's like a whole squad of them and Mewtwo's got to stop them.
That actually sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, when you think about it, and the problem is though is that like none of this is reflected in the games. So it's just like, oh, like there's this event and we'll give you Genesect and there you go. But like the story behind a lot of like these mythical and legendary Pokemon is super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the whole Mewtwo story arc, and then like the sort of elemental beasts, their story arc, where it was actually like 3 different Pokemon got caught in this tower, and then the tower got caught in a storm, was struck by lightning, and then burned down. And Ho-Oh, one of the legendary Pokemon from Gold and Silver, took pity on them and charged them as being like guardians or whatever, and turned them into these legendary beasts.
What?
Yeah. Or
what? That's canon?
Yes.
Ho-Oh is wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon in the games that are like deity level.
Yeah.
Like Kyogre and Groudon.
And you can capture them?
You can capture them.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why the whole notion of like 10-year-olds going out and capturing godlike monsters is absurd.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh, I mean, that's another thing that I liked, is that the protagonists, like, they're not kids. They're like, you know, kind of post college, maybe a little bit, or college age-ish. So it's nice to see actual adults going on adventures and solving problems as opposed to like 13-year-olds.
Well, and I think it was also nice to have not only adults, but adults that, like, people generally worked beside Pokemon, like we've seen in the games, but realizing that the city was like intensely populated.
Well, yeah, so, and this isn't really a spoiler. The whole purpose behind Rhyme City is essentially there are no Pokemon trainers and there are no Pokemon battles.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be a place where humans and Pokemon live together in harmony. So that's why, like, in the trailers, you see, like, cops work alongside little Growlithe as, like, police dogs, and there's, like, a Machamp directing traffic.
I loved seeing all the little Growlithes. I was like, that's...
All I could think of was Monty, because they have big floofy tails like him.
Yeah. This is my question, though. Those were mostly true to size, right? True to scale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Made me want to
most Pokemon are actually a lot smaller than people think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the Gen 1 starters, I think, top out at, like, 5 or 6 feet.
Gyarados. Oh, starters. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gyarados is big, but, like, yeah, and, you know, like, Snorlax is maybe, like, 8 feet tall.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, seeing him, you know, sleeping on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, Dragonite's, like, you know, 5 or 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Pokemon are actually kind of small, hence pocket monsters being the thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and as a matter of fact, I think the biggest Pokemon might be Primal Groudon, and it's still like, he's still like 9 feet tall. So yeah, to give an indication of that.
Yeah.
And like Wailord might be the biggest one in terms of size, but
I think so.
It actually doesn't weigh very much because they're like blimp whales.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was nice. All the Pokemon designs were really good. They were all animated very well. They do actually have an explanation for why some of the Pokemon in the trailer looked creepy. That is actually related to the plot, and not just they were designed bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a couple of things that I take issue with. As far as it's plot related stuff, so we won't go into it. But
Yeah.
just some of the stuff related to the plot, it kind of leaves some questions after the movie of like what happens. You can easily hand wave it, but still, some weird stuff going on. Also, apparently, it kind of stays true to the Detective Pikachu game a lot more than people were thinking it would.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
That's good. Yeah, I again, like as we discussed, like I had a little bit of problem with the flow, and the
yeah,
timing
it
of
does.
some of the scenes.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
like the first hour really seemed
The movie
to,
takes a long time to get going and gives you a lot of
yeah.
like exposition at the front.
Which I mean, I'm glad that I had it,
well,
but at the same time, like
and
some of the scenes I felt went on for too long.
the funny part is, I was telling Megan after, was like that first part of the movie where it starts to get going and everything. I was like, I kind of wish that was like an entirely separate movie where they did, maybe like a 90-minute movie where it was just like before he gets to Rhyme City.
Yeah.
It's just like him trying to catch Pokemon in his hometown and being an insurance agent. And
Well, he didn't.
yeah, the main character is an insurance agent.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be.
And it's basically it's kind of like The Incredibles, but with Pokemon instead of superheroes. Mr. Incredible's an insurance agent in the beginning of The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and just like the fact that he's got to like balance those two things or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
It doesn't balance him for long.
No.
Are there like gym battles or anything?
No.
They do make reference to it. But as we said, so most of the movie takes place in Rhyme City, where Pokemon battling is like outlawed.
Okay, so I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a location in the games.
Lore.
It's solely it was solely created for the movie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a place where essentially Pokemon battling and like trainerhood, whatever you want to call it, is illegal. So.
Which is interesting though, because everybody seems to have a Pokemon partner, but that's how they refer to their relationships. It's not Pokemon and trainer. They're a partnership, and they are, they have one Pokemon, and that's who they're close with.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you want to think about it, it's more like if everybody just had a really intelligent pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to, these weird little monsters that you put into
balls,
tiny pocket dimensions, and then summon them to fight for you. But yeah. I enjoyed it.
Which is actually pretty metal if you think about it.
Yeah. Metal enough that PETA made a knockoff Pokemon game to show the brutality of it. And where it's like the Pokemon revolt and like kill the trainers.
Yeah, that's pretty metal too.
Savagely.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would encourage, if you're a Pokemon fan, definitely go see it.
Yeah.
If you're not a Pokemon fan and not really like into Pokemon, you can pass on it, because it really was made for Pokemon fans.
It was, yeah. I got to agree. It was like I spent most of my time during like the big, like in the city scenes where you could see a whole bunch of people going around, like looking and seeing how many different Pokemon I could see.
Yeah.
Just because like I was just fascinated by how well they did everything.
Yeah. And despite the fact that like kind of the target audience is kids, there's some really dark moments in there for a kids film.
Good, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Kids need to experience more dark moments, I'm convinced.
Land Before Time movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Don Bluth, man. Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
notorious.
When I was growing up, it was you were a Don Bluth kid or a Disney kid. I was a Disney kid.
I
And
was
then
both. I watched both.
not in my like general circle of friends. It was you
Disney.
were
I mean, older Disney films, and then Pixar films, also pretty dark.
yeah. Different kind of dark.
It's not a Pixar film if somebody doesn't die in the opening scene.
It's important to face those emotions and feelings at a young age.
It's important to understand and recognize. Yes.
Yes.
The difference is, it's not a Disney movie if somebody doesn't die in the last 5 minutes of the movie. So, Pixar likes to wallop you at the beginning, and Disney likes to wallop you at the end. And Don Bluth is just horribleness all the way through. I'm looking at you, Secret of Nim.
I think Land Before Time is the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Oh, wow.
When I was like really, really little.
We had it on VHS.
In North Adams. When there was a theater in North Adams.
There still is.
There still is.
Next to Bounty Fair. There used to be a plaza there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like before you get to the Walmart in that area there.
Yeah.
A long, long, long time ago.
Yep.
The
Oh,
80s.
I'm like, there is one still.
Yeah, way up in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Moving forward. Mario Maker 2 coming in June.
Torture Simulator 2.
Yeah.
Got it.
And now even includes the ability to add a hard mode to your levels, where they have added they've added the Angry Sun, so now you can put the Angry Sun in your levels and torment people with it, because like there's almost no way of getting rid of it. Or you can turn the Angry Sun into the Happy Moon. And if you hit the Happy Moon, you like get a life. You get like a 1-up life. But the moon turns it into night. And each type of like level setting gets a different effect that makes the game harder.
So night mode is hard mode.
Night mode is hard mode. So like grassland levels, or like overworld levels, I can't remember if it's like they do something with your speed or jumping power or something like that. Like it might be like extra gravity or less gravity. Might be less gravity. Underground levels are upside down, so gravity's reversed. They showed desert levels have a sandstorm, so it like obscures your vision and causes like wind to blow in a certain direction. Ice levels have extra slippery floors, so like they increase the level at which you slide across the level. So stuff like that. So
make a level that is in a desert area, but also has like the piano keys, and you have to play the sandstorm, Darude Sandstorm on the piano keys to get through the level.
Well, funny you should mention that. They also now have alternate level complete conditions.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm sure you could actually do that.
Exactly.
I'm sure somebody's going to do it.
Yes.
Maybe.
Dio.
What? Dio?
I just said me, Dio. I'll do it.
Yeah, what else did they do? Slopes. You can now make slopes.
I knew slopes. Yep.
So that actually changes things quite a bit, because that dramatically increases the amount of stuff that you can do. There's a new item that has not appeared in Mario games before, a new power-up item, the Dry Bone Shell. So the Dry Bone Shell, it's basically an upside-down, like, Dry Bones turtle shell, and you hop inside it, and that allows you to, like, go through lava. Like, you just, like use it like a little boat. Use it like a little boat. And you can also use it to play dead. So if you press, like, down and B... So, like, if you were wearing the Tanuki suit, would turn you into a statue. With the Dry Bone Shell, it's you just, like, collapse into a pile of bones. And enemies will, like, walk right by you.
That's weird.
Super metal! You wear the bones of your enemies, and then you turn into a pile of bones.
That's a Marowak level.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah. There's also the ability to do... So, they say you can do Super Mario 3D World, except it's still 2D, so it uses the art style, but it allows you to use the cat suit, which allows you to scratch enemies, like do like a lunging attack, and like climb walls. This also means that you can put the cat suit on enemies as well, so you can have cat suit Bowser, like, come after you.
That
Does this game have Bowsette?
No.
Well, 0 out of
Bowsette
10.
has not been formally accepted by Nintendo.
0 out of 10. Don't play any Mario.
There is going to be a story mode that gives you like 100 levels, and basically kind of like teaches you how to use the level design feature as you progress through story mode. And co-op, like 1 and 2 player co-op. Which you can also do that for designing levels too, so you can have 2 people making a level together. So yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Aside from that, it is straight up Mario Maker. So there were a lot of like quality of life enhancements for it. So on off switches as well, so that allows you to do a lot more logic type stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Like the last game, people were figuring out ways on how to like make a calculator out of a level.
Of course.
So I'm sure this way, now that they actually have like a proper on-off switch, they're going to be coming up with all sorts of stuff.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, and that is coming in,
Next
I believe
month?
it's June. Yeah, in June.
Very shortly, actually, within the next week. Or within the first week of June, I believe.
Okay. So
I was just at GameStop today, and they were talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, kind of the big topic is The Descent, or D&D Live 2019. So
start playing. You need to edit in Slayer, Reign of Blood.
No, you know what? I'm all in on the magic sword. No, I'm all in on the magic sword now. They were that was who I was watching on Sunday night, because they did basically a big concert to close out the event. So the magic sword is best described as a 3-person band that does synthwave rock and dresses up like medieval Daft Punk. Where they dress up like they're wearing like knight helmets and armor and like big cloaks and stuff to make them look like cultists. But the knight helmets are the ones that have like thin visors, and like pointed visors and everything. But the visor part is like lit up with LED lights.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the synthwave, they one of their songs was actually used for the Thor Ragnarok trailer.
Okay. You know what? Now that I just looked this up, I encountered this because I was listening to some like electronic music over the weekend, and this came up in like the YouTube recommends.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what are all these sword videos? And I listened to some of them. I wasn't super into it, but
I've
see.
I've been all in.
Yeah.
It's kind of my jam. But yeah. But anyway, so they were essentially the last act to play in the concert. And for those who were watching, you got to see one Kate Welch, Baby Wizard at Wizards of the Coast, basically like jamming out in the front row.
Nice.
Just like thrashing about. It was great. So basically, D&D Live 2019 talking about Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus is going to be the new storyline, the new adventure module coming out
Continuing
in September.
things are metal. Jeez.
Yes.
This whole adventure, this whole storyline.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
And they said for people that are kind of tired of like how good and cosmopolitan and awesome like Waterdeep is, like fine.
Welcome to Gotham City.
Fine, go to Baldur's Gate. Welcome to Gotham City, or Mos Eisley, where everybody is horrible and terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the thought is you start in Baldur's Gate. Something happens. My guess is something maybe involving Baal. Since his insignia, I heard all manner of pronunciations of his name.
It's got to be. You know what? We got to play Baldur's Gate, the old game, and I'm sure they say it in there at some point.
It was actually on sale. Like all of the old D&D video games were on sale this past weekend.
I bet.
Oh,
because
cool.
of the event on Steam.
Yeah.
I thought about picking them up.
I didn't look at Steam this weekend. I didn't have time.
Yeah. But the idea is you're going to start in Baldur's Gate. Something happens, probably with the God of Murder, since his logo, his insignia is everywhere on these products.
I'm pretty sure Ball is. Spoilers. I'm pretty sure Ball is dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just his holy symbol is like shown everywhere. Including like
maybe he makes a comeback.
His holy symbol is the alternate cover for the book, actually.
He's not the god of death. He's the lord of murder.
Yeah.
Not just death, a very specific niche of death.
But yeah, so something happens maybe with him, and then you end up in Avernus, the first layer of hell. And it's basically been described as Mad Max in hell.
Awesome.
Where they've made up rules for war machines that are powered by soul coins. Like the preferred currency of the 9 hells, which are coins that are the essence of a person's soul. Typically a bad person's soul. It seems like they've replaced the maggots that they used to be, like the soul maggots. But yeah, and then you jockey with the various warlords of hell to get power, glory, whatever you want. It's another like kind of open sandbox one, but I was thinking that maybe they've learned from Storm King's Thunder and maybe tightened it up a little bit so that it is not just completely like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then at some point you can go talk to, I think is it Azrael? I think is her name. She is the Lord of Avernus, and is a fallen archangel. And the idea is you can try and rebel against hell, and try and redeem Azrael or Azariel. It might be Azariel. Or you can give in to the corruption. Also has a bunch of blood war elements, so like you might find demonic incursions, and there's all sorts of stuff with like demon blood that has properties and things.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the river Styx runs right through, so that's basically what separates the abyss from the hells.
Yep. Also, Joe Manganiello either was a consultant for the book or one of the co-writers or whatever. So Archon is now canon, and
that's
in
really
the book,
cool.
Makes sense because Tiamat is lurking around somewhere in this layer of hell.
Yep. So you can meet Archon. What's his title? Archon the Cruel?
The Cruel.
Yeah, Archon the Cruel, and some of his minions. He has minions now.
Oh boy.
He
also has the Hand of Vecna.
He does, I think, maybe. I don't know if they're gonna have that be canon.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be pretty cool.
But there were some other characters, like Mad Maggie, who's a crowd favorite, played by one Jeremy Crawford. She's a night hag. That is like the leader of basically. She imagine if like a Morton Joe was a night hag, but with a little more personality than a Morton Joe. And you have Mad Maggie. So imagine a night hag riding around on like war machines and motorcycles and stuff with a bunch of red caps, who are like sadistic, murderous little like gnome-like fae. And there you have that. So yeah. Releases September 17th. It's going to have 2 versions of the book, one with the standard cover, one with the alternate cover. So yeah. There's also going to be a dice set that goes with it. I sent that one to Courtney. It's like kind of a blood and brimstone color with like gold filigree for the numbers.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah.
They're really, really, really pretty.
Also included, like, you get some maps, as well as I think it's like an infernal codex, so that you can translate like all the infernal runes that they show up in the book and everything.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. I
So
mean, dice
yeah.
are dice. Everyone should just stick with their one set of die. I mean, that's obvious. But maps and
No, that's
Yeah,
wrong.
this is something where I might
hellish
actually
codexes are pretty cool.
I might actually pick up the dice set. Like, because I kind of want the other stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna steal so much stuff from this campaign for my campaign.
I'm going to steal a bunch of this stuff
Spoilers?
for, not for the current Jemmora arc, or the current campaign, but for the next campaign.
My ideas of where I want my current campaign to head are in this direction, so this is perfect.
I'm not gonna lie. I really like Mad Max, and I'm kind of excited to see what would happen with our current party, where we subjected to being in like Thunderdome in hell.
God. I mean, it already basically is when you guys just talk to each other. It's basically just Thunderdome every time.
Yes, I mean the fighters in particular. Like,
yeah,
like I want. I think it'd just be great. It would be great.
Yeah. We'll see.
Also, it's just like, just the games that they played, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, everything was just seemed super interesting for it. And yeah, the War Machine stuff, I'm totally lifting. So yeah, we also got an expansion for Dungeon Mayhem, which is the current sort of like PvP card game by Wizards. There's an expansion called Battle for Baldur's Gate, which gives us a druid character who is from the I think she's from the Baldur's Gate games and the D&D comics, but I can't remember her name. She's like a wood elf druid. And then Minsc and Boo are going to be the other character. Complete with like going for the eyes and destroying evil and all that awesome stuff.
Yes.
There was no release date given for that, which is a little weird. Because like I would imagine that it should be almost finished. Like if they already have the cards, like it should be pretty close to done. And then there's going to be another. It's kind of like another starter kit called the D&D Essentials Kit.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool too.
Yeah. So this will have like another condensed version of the rules. We'll have another kind of starter adventure that like also ties into Phandalin. So you can use it along with Lost Mines of Phandelver and like mix and match elements from both. Also includes kind of rules and tips for playing one-on-one. So doing like a one-person party if you can't find a whole group to play with, but you have like one person that might be interested. One of the things being they make extensive use of the sidekick rules that were put out in an Unearthed Arcana article. So
nice.
Yeah. Includes magic item cards, sidekick cards, monster cards, I think spell cards maybe. Maps, the adventure book, and I think there was a couple other like goodies in there. And I'm like, cool. I want this for the cards and the maps. And the adventure. I think the adventure would be nice.
Lost Mines is a fantastic starter adventure. Yeah. So if this is anything close to it, it'll be great too.
Has something to do with dragon hunting, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to teach a new group of people how to play and use it.
Yep.
See how it works.
So interestingly enough, will come out June 24th at Target. And only Target.
Exclusive.
Which is a little weird. And then everywhere else September 3rd. Which is also a little weird. It makes me wonder if, like, I don't know, maybe Target like put up a bunch of money for the initial printing run or something in like a deal with Hasbro. And then they're gonna use that money to then fund the printing it everywhere. I don't know. But it's kind of weird.
When does it release at Target again?
June 24th, and then everywhere else September 3rd.
That soon?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if it's like meant to be an initial run. Because, I mean, it comes out like almost 2 months. 2 months beforehand.
Yeah. I'm just saying a month from now. Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Cool.
Yeah. So, and then as far as, so there were 4 kind of official games that were run. One run by Jeremy Crawford, one run by Kate Welch, one by Marisha Ray, and one by Chris Perkins. They're
Nice.
all fantastic. I encourage you, like, if you're interested in watching D&D streams, give them a look, because they pull in all sorts of personalities from all various stuff. I know poor Kate Welch had to run a game for Jerry Holkins, Clint and Travis McElroy, Joe Manganiello. Hang on, let me see who else was in that game.
That's right. She can do no wrong. She's perfect.
I mean,
fine.
It was fantastic. The whole adventure. So, spoilers, but the adventure was setting up a date between a Weirboar and Mad Maggie.
Jesus.
And at one point, they had Jeremy Crawford come back in to play Mad Maggie, because she was an NPC in the game that he ran prior that evening.
Let's see.
D&D Live 2019. Here we go. And then Chris Perkins, being Chris Perkins, right at the start of the game, he goes, "Everybody roll a d20. That's how many hit points you have."
What?
Yeah. Except for
Pat
one
Rothfuss,
Matthew
who
Mercer.
got $1 million. Oh.
Pat Rothfuss was not in that game.
Oh.
All right, so let's see. Okay. So
What the heck?
So Kate Welch, Malik Forte, Matthew Lillard, Jerry Holkins, Joe Manganiello, Clint McElroy, and Travis McElroy. Like that. And one of the things that I learned is we need more games in which Jerry and Clint play together, because the two of them together are just delightful. They are positively delightful.
Clint's the dad, right?
He's the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Merle, and they played all of their characters. So except for Joe. Joe was not playing Archon. He was playing somebody called like Half Matt, who was a red draconic bloodline sorcerer. Maybe one of Archon's great grandchildren, maybe. But yeah, so Jerry was playing Omen, Clint was playing Merle. Travis was playing God, what's his character's name? Magnus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. No, Pat Rothfuss was playing in Marisha's game with Christina Ariel, Matthew Lillard, Satine Phoenix, Kate Welch, and Deborah Ann Wool. That was a fantastic game. Pat was playing Viari, Kate was playing Rosie Beestinger.
What ho!
Deborah
Were any chandeliers swung upon?
So here's the thing: is there were a lot of technical issues, and at one point during Marisha's, they lost power in the whole like venue. So I don't know. I have to go back and watch it because I really want to catch up and see. I can guarantee that there were probably chandeliers swung upon.
Great.
Deborah Ann Wool was playing Twiggy, her character from Critical Role.
Yeah.
And Satine was playing her character from Sirens of the Realms. Who is like the storyteller person in that game. Chris's game, Mika Burton, Matt Mercer, Anna Prosser, B. Dave Walters, Deborah Ann Wool, and Jim Zub. So Jim Zub played Minsc. Matthew Mercer played Boo, the hamster.
Wait, what?
Yes. Yes. I was like, oh, what are they gonna like? Is Matt gonna play like his normal Tabaxi character that he always plays for in Chris's games and in when he like guests elsewhere? What's he gonna do? Oh, is he gonna play somebody else? What is he gonna? And then it comes out and like he's dressed up in like hamster face paint and everything. And Jim had like shaved his head and painted his face and everything to cosplay as Minsc. And it was the two of them, and it was like they, Boo had 1 hit point, and Chris let him be overpowered. But it was great. It was fantastic. He gave them all a mercy coin at the start of the game, and said, "You can hand in this coin to essentially like ask for mercy from the DM, and I will give it to you." Because that game was brutal. I think despite the fact that people were rolling for hit points with a D20, routinely getting dealt like 70 points of damage.
Ouch.
But then not auto dying from it.
Hmm.
So there was that. And then Jeremy Crawford's game had Kelly D'Angelo, Taliesin Jaffe, Taryn Killam, Alex Lee, Joe Manganiello, and Serena Marie.
Yeah, I'm looking at they have a lot of playlists from the thing.
There's a lot.
There's one,
Well, because they
two-
also have the side games that were running as well.
There was 6 different things.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
probably the 4 games, the opening ceremonies, and then the concert and closing ceremonies.
No. This is 6 playlists. Sorry.
Oh, 6 playlists.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Also, they had Ben from Sirenscape, who's kind of like the main public-facing guy of Sirenscape there, doing sound effects and everything. Was really great to hear some of the stuff that we use for Tales of Jemmora being played at like a professional Wizards of the Coast event. Yeah, it makes me really wish that we had somebody that was able to just like for our stream just do Sirenscape and like do sound effects and stuff. But yeah, or that I had, you know, a multi-monitor setup that I could do stuff like that. So
yeah.
Also, they announced during the closing ceremonies, we are getting an Eberron hardcover book this year.
Oh, wow.
And it sounds like it is not just the hardcover version of the Eberron Wayfinder's Guide. So, like, it might be an adventure module or something else. So we'll see. But
Cool.
all in all, I'm super excited.
Great.
And then Ghosts of Saltmarsh is out right now.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yes, it came out on Tuesday.
Boats. It's boats and stuff. Who cares?
That's what I am most excited for in that book. But Saltmarsh seems like it's an interesting enough location too. So yeah. So that pretty much wraps up the news for this week. We thought about doing E3 predictions, but we're gonna save that for a
Yeah.
later time.
I already know everything's going to be at E3. We'll save it. It's not a problem.
Yeah, we can. Well, everybody's E3 prediction is Sony's not gonna be there
Yeah.
because they've already announced they're not having any E3 presence whatsoever.
That's right. It's going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. There'll be another Death Stranding trailer that nobody will understand, and that'll be it. That'll be E3, folks. See you later. 2 games.
Well, I got a bunch of Nintendo predictions, but like I said, we're gonna cover them in a later week, maybe a little bit closer to E3, and then what we'll do was we'll write them down, and whoever wins, we'll do a prize.
Ooh.
We'll do a prize because that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
IGN used to do a steak dinner, and instead now they changed to bags of candy. Yeah.
I'm down for a bag of candy.
Downgrade. Come on.
Yep. So
But yeah, so that begins on June 11th, though.
okay. So
E3.
maybe next week or something we'll do our predictions. So.
Yep.
All right. Now it's time for this week's news in 8-Bit Adventureland. So had an art stream. I did some fan art of Minsc and Boo. Just because, like, so full disclosure, I had never actually played the Baldur's Gate games.
Me neither.
Growing up. And so, like, I kind of didn't really have any idea of who Minsc and Boo was until, like, a couple years ago when Wizards really started to promote it with, like, the comics that Jim Zub was writing and putting out. And, I mean, that was basically it. And really, like, talking about it and, like, including him in, like, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms and stuff. But just, like, seeing seeing Jim Zub and Matt Mercer play them on stream kind of a thing, and just the personality and the level of absurdity of Matt playing a hamster. I was like, I want to do D&D characters and I want to do this. So I did it. It actually got retweeted by Jim Zub. So there we go. I was proud of that. So yeah. I ended up not having enough time to do any other characters, but that's fine. So, And then tomorrow on 8-Bit Adventures Game Night, or Thursday's edition of 8-Bit Adventures Game Night, Steamworld Quest Part 6.
Nice.
So I don't know how many chapters are in the game. I'm on technically chapter 2. So, but it feels like I'm like making progress. I'm pretty sure I've gotten all the characters in the game. So who knows? I'm estimating that this may end up being like a 12 to 15 part series, depending on how quickly I can get through areas. So yeah, we had for Berkshire Bites was out this week. Was it this week or last week?
Last week.
It was last week.
You finally did Taco Bell?
Daddy-O's.
Oh.
So, it was a little. It was another kind of somewhat critical episode.
Oof.
A little bit. But it wasn't too bad. You know, it was just it really the biggest issue is there's just a lot of different places to get breakfast in Berkshire County.
Yeah.
So and that's the problem. Is it makes it so that like a place
definitely. I mean, breakfast is in like the top 3 meals for sure. So I mean,
now are we talking standard human meals, or are we talking the Hobbit list?
Meals?
We're talking standard.
Yeah. Okay. But
I was gonna say, because 11 Z's is really the most important.
Otherwise, my joke's not as hilarious.
So yeah, I mean it was decent, but again, kind of like the issue with Lua Holly is when you have so many other places that you can choose from, like just being, you know, decent hurts. So, and I know Courtney's making a face because she really likes going there. And
I'm like, you're breaking my heart, man.
And again, we said, you know, we don't want to detract it from anybody. It's especially like because we're up in Lanesboro.
Yeah.
It's like we could just go to Bob's because it's right down the street.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a special place in my heart for Daddy-O's. I really like it. And it's good diner food. Like, you know what you're getting when you order.
Yeah.
I
also think I did admit my own breakfast was my own undoing.
As I say, you better not have talked crud about your own breakfast because you said it's good. It's just I
chose
wrong.
Poorly. Yeah. No, I made that very clear. I made it very clear.
What'd you choose?
It was crepes and filled with chocolate.
Why wouldn't you just go omelet?
Because I hate eggs.
You're killing me, Smalls.
It's impossible for me to do breakfast anywhere because I can't stand eggs, and that's like all anybody ever serves for breakfast.
Home fries, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, toast and butter.
I also don't
Keep
like sausage.
Simple.
No sausage, no eggs.
Why skip breakfast? You don't
I usually do. Or I have cereal at home. Like that's the problem. That's why I hate going out for breakfast. So, and like I'm never super hungry in the morning, so it's then like trying to have a waffle or a stack of pancakes, and I'm like I can't put it anywhere.
And that's why 11 Z's is so important because by then you're hungry.
Yeah, but by that point I'm like it's lunchtime. I'm gonna have lunch. Yeah. So,
dude, I have been known to order pancakes at 6:00 at night from like Misty Moonlight.
Heathen. You and Megan, you're both heathens.
What are you talking? It's 6:00. You could be eating pizza. What are you doing? You could be eating Taco Bell.
Brinner.
No. Oh
yeah.
God. Oh no.
Eggs.
Anyway,
sausage,
moving
bacon,
on.
Toast.
We are currently trying to figure out where we are going to review for next week's episode of Berkshire Bites. Maybe it might be Crispy Cone, might be someplace else. We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
We are not sure yet. What's that?
Pedrons.
Ooh, that's a trip.
Yeah, I mean that's we would have to make a trip up to do that.
Yeah.
I haven't been there since I was in like high school.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
It is on the list though. We do have it on the list at some
I used to work at a hardware store that was right across the street back in the day.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. That is no longer there.
Yeah. And then as far as comics, there was another kind of to round out the page for the 8-Bit Adventures comic, and just general nonsense. Iggy getting stuck in a beanbag, needing help, and that clearly makes for the stuff of heroes.
Why don't they call this an anime? Filler arc.
Well, yeah. That was made known.
Yes. Obvious.
Yeah. Because I'm still trying to write out Chapter 3. Although this stuff does kind of tie into Chapter 3, so it's not quite filler, actually.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I realized, unfortunately, there was no Monty comic last week. My apologies for that. It was the week came and went. But there will be one this week, and it will tie in to Detective Pikachu.
Ooh.
Because I would assume that I would have to, given that it's the Turtle and Terrier Detective Agency.
Absolutely.
I
So.
think you're right.
Absolutely. I want to see them both in cosplays.
Well, I was just thinking that they would just be hanging out with Detective Pikachu. So, less excited than that, but. And then, Tales of Jemmora, something that I'm toying around with is, I have been trying to think about, like, every sort of D&D campaign setting kind of has something that sets it apart from the others and makes it unique. So, like, well, kind of except for Forgotten Realms, because that's, like, kind of the base one now.
Yeah.
But, like, Dragonlance, you have the whole Dragon Riders thing and, like, the big war and very sort of epic mythical fantasy. Whereas, like, Ravenloft, it's, like, self-contained, it's dread, vampires, very gothic. Dark Sun, very sword and sorcery, very, like, Conan-esque, where, like, magic is bad, and the environment will kill you, and, like, post-apocalyptic. Eberron is, like,
Josh is just smiling at that.
You would be all in on Dark Sun.
Just wait.
The gods are
my
dead.
Campaign is heading that way.
Dark Sun is the gods are dead. In second edition,
yeah.
it was you couldn't play divine spellcasters.
Yeah.
Arcane magic is, like, heavily regulated. Yeah, that poster's been falling down, like, all week. I have to figure out some other way of securing it. Because these sticky tabs that said, put it up once, and you'll never have to worry about it again.
Nail gun.
Nope. Yeah, I might be looking at just nailing stuff up, actually. So for the audio listeners, one of my giant posters on the wall just suddenly fell, and now it's
continuing, and now it's gone.
Now Descent into Madness is complete.
Descent into Madness. The Descent.
Yes.
Tying it back. Yeah. Right. So, basically, different campaigns all have their unique stuff.
World apart.
So, I've been trying to think about, like, what sets Jemmora apart, and right now I'm not sure that anything really does. And, like, maybe it's not necessary for it to, because, I mean, if you think about it, like Critical Role's Exandria, I mean, doesn't necessarily have something that really causes it to stand out.
Nope.
No.
Standard fantasy.
But I was thinking, well, what if I play up the story aspect? And the idea of, like, my initial reasoning why calling it Tales of Jemmora is that that the characters are all acting out, like, stories.
Yeah.
Right? Of essentially their stories. And it's very, like, meta in that regard. So I don't know if it'll be for next session, because next session immediately delves into a boss fight. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But there is a variant in the Dungeon Master's Guide known as plot points. And this is basically at the start of every session, each player gets one plot point. And you get to spend a plot point whenever to basically say, I don't think so. Or to say, oh, hey, there's a secret door here, or something. Basically gives the players agency to be able to tell me, the Dungeon Master, hey,
As
you should do a thing
DM,
there.
never. No way. That's a DM a nightmare.
However, there's a further variant of this, which is that if somebody spends a plot point,
they die.
They say the player to your right introduces a complication, but I would say I get to introduce a complication to that. So like, so let's say that Josh, you spend a plot point, and it would have to be within reason, right?
No.
It would have to be within reason, because obviously we don't want to ruin the game either. But it, let's say back when you guys were fighting those tyrannosaurs, you could spend a plot point and say, hey, actually, those tyrannosaurs are a bunch of orcs dressed up in costume running around in the forest.
I wouldn't say that.
Or something.
Scaring everybody off.
Yeah. Or
wait,
plot point,
you gonna Scooby-Doo that then?
Plot point, they're actually
three kids in a trench coat.
No, ancient red dragons.
So I mean, you could say, yeah, they're actually polymorphed ancient red dragons that are currently using like a polymorph spell on themselves, kind of a thing. And I could be like, sure, and then introduce some kind of complication to that. And the reasoning behind this being to kind of play up the story aspect and introduce something like almost from like Princess Bride is what I was thinking of like essentially one of the players saying, hey, you're not telling the story right. Like, that's not how the story goes. It was actually like this. And I think that would introduce an interesting... And it's supposed to be that once you spend your plot point, you're done for that session. Until everybody spends one, and then everybody gets one again. But I'm just thinking, everybody just gets one per session. And that way just introduce, and you might not decide to use it. But just to give a little bit more of like, hey, there's actually a door here, or something like that. I think it would make it a little more interesting and would play up the storytelling bent to it a bit more and set it apart.
I know, from DM perspective, no way. I couldn't. That's too much on the fly. I'm already flying by the seat of my pants as it is as a DM most of the time. So
I mean, most of the time I am doing stuff on the fly because you guys go in weird, unexpected directions.
Because you can't tame us.
No, I clearly can't. So,
and I'm just personal for me. Yeah. I have a narrative line I want to follow.
Yeah.
Or I would prefer the party to follow. So like, I don't want
and that's fair.
Wrenches thrown into it,
Yeah, that's why it's an optional rule in the DM, just for something to people think about. But I just think if I really want to like set something unique and really play up like this tales storytelling, like collaborative storytelling aspect to it, I think I'm willing to give it a shot. So it might be when we finish up this arc, but be on the lookout for that. Plus it gives me more of a thing to give you guys little fiddly bits to, be like, all right, I spend my plot point or like plot coin or something. So yeah. The third variant, like you can go further and further down. And the final one is, I think it's called like the Gods Have Gone Crazy, where it's when somebody spends a plot point, they take over for DMing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absurd.
I would love to take over Jemmora for a second.
No.
I hold on to my plot token just to wait for you to do it, and then I'd be like, nope, I'm going to spend mine, take it right back.
Oh, Josh sits down in the DM seat. The gods are dead.
But yeah. So, obviously we'd have to sit down and discuss it and just be like, okay, here are kind of the ground rules, right?
Mm-hmm. No killing May.
Yeah, obviously, like, don't spend a plot point to kill off one of the other players. That's bad.
I mean, that's just like...
I'm looking at you.
But, I mean, it could be like you could spend a plot point to save one of the other players. Or yourself. Might have been relevant. Or might still be relevant.
Wait a second. May didn't run into that group of wraiths.
Jacobin did.
No, see, that's what I'm worried about. Is people messing with my character with their plot points.
No, and I think that's a simple thing. It's just say you can't mess with anybody else's character.
I joke with like the killing May thing, but
Yeah.
like
But to say like you can mess with NPCs, but you can't take away agency from another person. I don't count as a person.
Oh, don't you?
Well, because that's the whole point. So, but really, I also think it would help me to think on my feet better. So, give me practice. Plus, most of your inspiration based stuff does this anyway.
To some extent, yeah.
So,
then I would. Well, this is a discussion that we don't need to have on here.
Yeah, but that's just something that might be coming up in Jemmora as a way to make it stand out a little bit more, and kind of define.
Just switch out the cards for the plot points.
Yeah,
since they fulfill the same essential role.
Yeah, could do that.
And I think the cards are used so rarely anyway.
Yeah, I think people forget that they have inspiration a lot.
Well,
yeah, I do.
Well, like for me, my character's changed a little bit so that like I don't do that thing as much anymore.
Yeah. I mean that's the other thing.
Way. Is that people... that was a purposeful character change.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this would work. Is just changing it over to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. So yeah. That pretty much covers everything that's going on with 8-Bit Adventures. I would say we should delve into Questlog, except here in the notes we have Courtney didn't fill out what we're playing. Josh wrote
No, because Courtney hasn't been playing anything, but Courtney has an update on what she just added to her Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that will likely be the only thing we have to talk about because Josh and I didn't play anything. Because
I've got something to talk about.
Okay. Is it gaming related?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I don't.
I'm gonna talk
like
about
I really haven't played anything whatsoever.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously I've been playing, a good amount of Stardew Valley, but I was putzing around on the Nintendo eShop the other night and wondering if it had the release dates for when Will Wonderful World and the Opus Collection would be launching, and they were already in the store.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Like,
Nintendo really likes to do and it's out right now.
The thing is, Will and Opus Collection on cartridge are $40 each.
Okay.
Opus The Day We Found Earth was $5. Opus the Rocket one was $8.99, and Will a Wonderful World was $14.99. So I went to GameStop and got rid of my pre-orders and just got eShop cash.
Yeah, that's why I mean digital. In theory, digital should be cheaper than physical.
I mean, but by that much?
Yeah.
Like, I understand $10 cheaper or something. But yeah, so I just downloaded 4 games actually. Opus.
I mean, are they also on sale?
No.
Oh, that's very interesting then.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, unless there's some secret, they didn't have any banners on them that said they were on sale or anything.
I don't know.
Yeah. But no, and then I just got a couple little other games of Star Sky and My Big Sister, which just look like cute little interesting games, less than $5 for each of them. So I'm actually excited to be starting to play those. Yeah. But I've just been finalizing cosplays, making more dice bags, and packing, repacking, and repacking for Comic-Con in Denver. So, yeah.
All right, Josh, what do you got? You just wrote adulting sucks.
Yeah. I just work has been nonstop.
Yeah.
I was at a conference for the last half of the week last week, but silver linings with this conference. One, I went to a really cool gaming store.
Nice.
It wasn't in Mystic, Connecticut. It was next town over, but in southwest, or rather southeast Connecticut. And it was called, what was it called? Citadel Cellar Games or something like that.
Nice.
Lots of board games, lots of D&D stuff, lots of Magic the Gathering, lots of tabletop war games. It was awesome. Like, it was a really cool store. It was literally in the basement of this building. So I bought a few unpainted miniatures there because I'm going to paint up Courtney a tiefling mini.
Yay!
And then on my way home from the conference, I found a used video game store called Game X with the letter X
Nice.
change on my way home going through Connecticut. And I bought a few PS2 games to buff up my collection. I'm just going to share. One of them is Suikoden 3, which I've never played. I never played this one on PS2. It looked pretty cool. So, got it. JRPG. Got Valkyrie Profile 2.
Nice.
Which, another one I never played, nor did I ever play Valkyrie Profile 1. But
Okay.
one's considered a classic, but I never played this one. Looked cool. Star Ocean, what is this, 3? No, Star Ocean Till the End of Time. These are all PS2 games. I realized I already had this one, so this is a double. When I got home, I'm like, oh crap, I already have this one.
I do that sometimes with books.
I do this a lot with games. I need to actually make a spreadsheet for when I go out and do collecting to see if I already have that, because I've done that a couple times. I beat this. I don't know if I beat it, but I played it when I was in high school. And then I got Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, the
man.
Vincent Valentine
Yep.
third-person shooter game.
Yep.
I saw it and I knew I had
It's
to have
Resident
it.
Evil, but you're a zombie.
It's like,
It's weird.
I don't know, Devil May Cry, kind of. But yeah, but not as good.
Yeah.
I just know it's often considered a pretty bad game,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I might fire it up and just play it for funsies, and I can probably shut off my brain enough just to be like, this is dumb and fun. But yeah, just buffing up my PS2 collection a little bit, and I may hook that up soon and play. I'm looking forward to summer break here, where even though I'll have to be in the school building a bit, even though the kids are gone, but I won't have to stay till like 5 or 5:30 anymore, and I won't have to get in as early. I'll actually be able to play some flipping games. And not just come home, eat, and go to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why adulting sucks.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then I just haven't played anything.
Yeah.
Really.
I think I played a couple games of HOTS throughout the week, but nothing serious.
No, I haven't played any Blizzard stuff. I haven't played anything on Steam. Nothing on Nintendo. Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
I did see Tetris 99 had some like tournament thing, and I didn't realize if you got 100 points, which is like you get a certain number of points for how you place in the Battle Royale, you unlock a Game Boy skin.
Oh, cool.
Where it changes the music and the graphics and everything as if you were playing Tetris on Game Boy. And I was like, well, if I had known that, I would have done it. I'm pretty sure I missed my opening for it. So that might be what I check after we finish the podcast to see if the event's still going.
Yeah.
Because I would totally just change it over to that for everything. Good old 8-bit Tetris sound, which to me is like, that is the only way to listen to the Tetris music.
I remember on my original Game Boy. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this evening, folks. So if you would like to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, you can head on over to 8-bitadventures.com. Over there, you can find comics, podcasts, streams, and artwork, and all sorts of other wonderful content. If you would like to support that content, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. with your help and support, maybe I can get my posters to stay up on the wall. Big shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons. It is because of your support that projects like Berkshire Bites are possible. Our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. With that, we conclude our wonderful podcast this day, evening, daytime, nighttime, today. So have fun, everyone. Happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.